Alright, so let's get started with the 6 quick hacks on becoming a more likable woman, alright? First of all, the first one is having empathy. A lot of women miss out on this. The lack of empathy is a result of being self-absorbed, being self-conscious. Meaning that you're so focused on how you come across or on becoming a more likable person or better than somebody else that you lack empathy, that you put yourself above everybody else. You see, when people feel that, the people feel that in interaction. You see, so when you learn to have empathy, it will undoubtedly make you a much likable person. It will make you much likable. And above all, it'll make you more influential, because when you have empathy, it means that you understand people. Or it means that, it means that you understand people, or that you make believe that you understand people, because some people are pretty good at hiding empathy, like sociopaths are. But generally speaking, when you have empathy, you have better conversations. You're able to conversate better because you actually are genuinely care about what the person has to say. Having empathy means you have a heart that's not filled with bitterness and anger. It means that you project a very chilled aura. I'm telling you, like, it's one of the nicest things, and that's the one thing that I pride myself in, is having empathy. I really have a lot of compassion for people, you know. And so this is why I'm doing this, because to be honest with you, like, I have no need to teach women how to do this, you know, but I want to help women out, you know. I want to satisfy women, not just, I want to satisfy them mentally, you know. Anyways, number 2, this is my favorite one: changing roles. In other words, the way that we interact with people is all dependent on how you perceive them. For example, you know, when you with your parents, right? The reason why you respect your parents is because you see them in your mind's eye as your parents, right? Now, another example. Let's say you have a boss, right? And you believe that your boss is bigger than you. So you are going to interact with your boss a lot differently, and you're going to physiologically and mentally react to them differently, as opposed to knowing them outside of their position, where you may perceive them as completely different from how they are in your work position. So what's the difference? It's all in how you perceive them, and it's all in the roles that you play. So if you buy into the role of being the subordinate and him being your boss, and seeing him as you're taking to your livelihood, you're going to feel nervous, because you naturally have an inferiority complex because he's your boss. But if you look through the veil, through that veil of illusion, which makes you think that he's bigger than you, you're going to bypass all of those mental limiting beliefs and see them for who they really are. And the beauty of this is that when you see a boss for who he is, rather than the projection that he's putting off, and at the same time you respect them, okay? Because just because you don't see them as your boss doesn't mean that you don't respect them. Okay, that comes into your value system, the kind of person that you are. But when you see them as an average person, but at the same time respect them for who they are, you're going to be more likable. You're going to be that kind of employee that somehow talks his mind, but the boss still respects him, as opposed to an employee who respects his boss but doesn't speak his mind. Like, you're less respected. So in reality, all you gotta do is just change the way you perceive people. Okay, so what I like to do is to see their inner child. See them as though I'm talking to a child. Because what's going to happen is that suddenly the roles change. The mental roles, remind you, is not based on physical reality. It's all based on your inner reality. That's how you see through the matrix. So when you see them as though you just see them as a normal person, you're going to react to them differently. For example, it's one thing having an ex and seeing them for your ex. You see all the beautiful memories. And so when you see them, what happens? You react differently, because you're playing the role of her being the love of your life. But once you stop liking them, suddenly the way you perceive them in your mind completely changes. The picture which used to be bright and glorious, and now it's dull and maybe even dark. So now when you see them, they don't have any more effect on you. But it was all based on how you perceived them. And somehow they even start liking you. Why? Not because of what you did, but because of how you perceived them. That caused certain actions that caused them to become attracted. So that's one of my secrets, is simply seeing people for who they are. And nothing's better to do that than through being present to the moment and bringing acceptance to all things. And that's a totally different subject. And I'm going into this one point a little bit too much right now. Number 3. Validate people. Validate people's insecurity, particularly men. Remember, the way through a man's heart is through what? His ego. Okay? So what you have to do is find out whatever he is insecure about. It could be his height, it could be his career, right? and validate him. Find creative ways to validate him. Find creative ways to make him feel strong. Better yet, find something that he works on that he's not particularly good at, but that he prides himself in. But even better, if it's something that he wouldn't otherwise tell somebody else because he's embarrassed about it. Now, look, if this motherfucker is perverted doing some crazy shit, don't do that. But if it's acceptable, what you have to do is, if he knows he's not that good and he is insecure about it, but he actually likes to do it, find ways to compliment him based on that insecurity. Find something that people love and that people are working on and that they're not as good at, and compliment them. Because if you compliment them on the things that everyone compliments them in, rather than helping you making the situation work, because he says in his mind, everybody tells me that, so he doesn't care as much. You see? So find their weakness and try to strengthen it, and you're going to become someone who validates people, and everyone loves that. For example, let me see a validation that used to work for me. Let me see. Okay, for example, before having my YouTube channel, I wouldn't talk to women about the stuff that I knew, right? I wouldn't talk to them as much. But there was this one particular girl who used to love listening to me speak about this kind of subject. And I'm not gonna lie, because she loved hearing me speak about this, it really made me say to myself, holy shit, she actually listens. Mind you, most of my friends are guys, and I always believe that we're never a prophet in our own land. You know, like if I become a bestseller, none of my friends are gonna be interested because they just see me as what? As my friend. Remember when I talked about the roles? You see, it's very difficult to become your prophet in your own land. So as a result, what was I saying again? Okay, so she loved listening to me speak about that, and I found her so charming. I'm like, whoa, that's different. And because she loved hearing me talk about it, I used to love hanging out with her because I could talk as much as I want, you know. And a part of it came from insecurity because I used to think people used to not want to listen to me speak. But now it's not the same anymore. I accepted it like a while ago. But nevertheless, I found it interesting that she actually seduced me because of that same principle, that she was listening to me, and she listened. Like she said, I loved it when you talk about it so passionately. And I'm like, what? Do I sound passionately? What? You actually looks attractive? You see, so she was actually feeding that part of me that was insecure, and that worked. All right. Number four. Speak slower with your lower voice, making strong eye contact, and using pauses. People, I talked about this in the video that I got that my laptop, that my old laptop that's still stuck in my old laptop. I talked about this. I had 30 points, 30 hacks for women. You know, this was one of them. That if you want to come across as though more believable and more authoritative and more respectable, politicians who spoke slower, who used more pauses, who spoke from the diaphragm, were elected more and won more elections. And also, generally speaking, I could talk like this, you know what I'm saying? Not speaking fast, speaking at this tone all the time, you know. And you guys may find what I say interesting, you know. But certainly, I could talk like this, you know, speak from my diaphragm, and have pauses once in a while. And you'll notice that what I'm saying is more believable. What I'm saying comes across with more certainty, and it has more power, as opposed to speaking fast. You know what I'm saying? But the best way to mix it up is you add this once in a while, but also you speak in your normal tone. Like if you want to speak fast, I'm a fast talker. You see, but when I want to get a point across, I slow down. And you see a lot of my videos that some videos I'm speaking loud, I'm more like loud. Some of the videos I'm speaking lower, like more bored. Some of the videos I'm more looking a little pissed off. Some of them, not that many. Some of them are more jubilant. Like I vary, alright? But I always add in that element of chilling. But that's something that I started doing unconsciously, to be honest with you. But it actually works to get people to believe in you, you know? There's a lot of things that I said that were lies. Do you believe that? Am I lying about the lies? No, I'm kidding with you. Number 5, believe in what you say. Rather than talking slow with confidence, speak high. I'm reading my fucking notes. Okay. Have certainty in your words. Okay. Have certainty and have conviction in what you say. So that's the 5th one, having certainty. Let me give you a perfect example of what it is not to have certainty, because not having certainty in your words, people are not going to pay as much attention to you as opposed to when you speak with certainty. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're in class, right, and it's your first day of class, right? You notice that when it's your first day of class, everybody's hesitant, you know, Everyone's looking around. They ask a question, and everyone looks around to see if it's okay to raise your hand. One person raises their hand, and then suddenly everyone raises their hands. You know, like everyone's looking for permission. You know, and that value seeking of like, should I speak? Like, you speak low because you don't want to speak low, but when you hear someone speak louder, you actually speak louder. Then the next person speaks louder, and it becomes like momentum, you know? And so that's good, but the problem is that that's all superficial confidence. That's all based on validation. So you don't really even stand out. The one who stands out is the one who goes first. But how do you go first? What's different about someone who goes first? Simple. It's the inner certainty. They derive their self-esteem through themselves, not through looking for other people's reactions. You see? So you do something not because you want to do it, not because you believe it's right, but because you want to do it. Now the thing is that only can be done if you have a good self-image, if you have good self-esteem. That only works when you have good self-esteem. Because you only believe in what you say if you believe in the source of what you say. And that comes from who? Yourself. Now, why wouldn't you believe in what you say? Why would people have low confidence? Because they grew dependent on other people because you may have had overbearing parents. That's what happens. You get overbearing parents, you get attached to them, so you make a lot of attachments because you need the attachment in order to survive. Kind of like becoming addicted to drugs. You need the drug to go back to equilibrium, to a homeostasis in your body. So, what do you have to do with that? You have to put yourself in a position where you have to put yourself in a position that you're uncomfortable. Me as a guy, I was lucky that I had pickup, that I was able to approach women on a consistent basis and practice this and become immersed in that process. And I can tell you that just 3 months of doing that completely changed how I am, completely changed my life. Now, you as a woman, you have to get through that. So what would I recommend? It's simple. You have to uninhibit yourself. This is all an inhibition. You're inhibited because you've been hurt. You've been told that if you express yourself, if you express yourself and stand out, that's not good. Like there's a negative association. There's pain associated with standing out, and there's pleasure with being secluded and going back into your little, becoming secure. So what you have to do is get yourself in a situation. So it's simple like this. Notice any times you feel that knot. Remember I talked about this yesterday. Notice any time you feel a hesitation and just observe it and do the opposite of what the emotion says. It's that simple. Feel resistance, like you want to speak but you don't want to speak. Feel it and then do the opposite. Just observe it and then do the opposite. Rather than feel it and then going secluded because you feel it and then you're reacting. No, what I want you to do is feel it, observe, and then do the opposite. Right? So for example, you're in class, everyone's saying who has an opinion, no one's raising a hand, you feel them not, do the opposite, raise your hand. You feel like talking low, speak louder. Alright? Because when you feel that resistance, you have to do the opposite. Because the opposite is the way. Resistance becomes your guide, kind of like a compass. You know? For example, it's kind of like with the media. If the media says, if you don't believe in the media, you always agree with whatever they don't say. For example, I believe if they say that don't vote for Donald Trump, I'll vote for Donald Trump simply because they don't want me to vote, because I don't like him. You see? So it's that simple. Like when you feel that resistance, use it as a map as to where you gotta go. If you feel fear, use it as a map that you have to go towards that. So do the opposite of with the resistance. And so what's gonna happen is that you're gonna feel nervous. Alright? But people are gonna feel that after a while you believe in what you say. So you're able to speak with conviction, you see? So people believe you more as a result of it. It's kind of like convincing someone not with your evidence, but with how much you believe in what you're saying. It's that simple. Number 6, being present. This is actually the most powerful one. Being present. When you're not present, it means that you're thinking. What causes people to lose confidence is not what causes people to lose confidence is the things that you're asking yourself. You see, the things that you're talking to yourself. You're thinking about the past. You're thinking about what you got to say next. And so you get anxious. And so you feel anxious is what happens. You don't want to feel anxious because feeling anxious is bad. Okay, so you feel a negative emotion, you feel like you're coming across nervous, you become self-conscious, and it becomes like a little momentum. And so when you speak to someone, people are going to feel that negativity. And it's not that they feel the negativity in terms of the emotion. The negative vibe that people feel is more of the resistance. because people know that nervousness is actually normal. Actually, if you're nervous and you own up to it, it's actually very seductive in nature. It becomes adorable. It becomes like, oh, holy shit, he's nervous. And he's cool about it. That's fucking likable. Someone who's cool about being nervous, that's amazing. All right. So I was actually gonna put that right there as exposing weakness. So, anyways, so becoming present, you just observe the emotion of being nervous. So by simply observing the nervousness, right? When you interact with people, they don't feel that friction of he doesn't want to feel nervous. Now that friction comes across as a disingenuous vibe. That comes across as a creepy vibe for women when you're talking to another guy, okay? And so you simply eliminating that, you reduce a lot of factors that causes people to become unlikable. Because when you try to, for example, like let's try to act like you're trying to win someone over, right? And so you act as though you like them, you act as though you are interested in what they're saying, right? And so you're trying to force the issue. So what happens? People fucking sense that. They sense it. They're like, something's off. Anything that you do is going to be suspicious. Because you're not congruent. Your thoughts, words, and actions are not aligned. There's a disalignment. There's your inner intentions and there's your actions. It doesn't feel right. Alright? Now, there are ways you can get through it. There's some dark tactics that you can do to get through that. But I'm not going to tell you guys that. But nevertheless, there's a discongruence. So the way to do it is to become not aligned with your thoughts, words, and actions. You feel nervous? Embrace it. You see, you feel nervous, embrace it. You don't know what to say next, embrace it. And so you embrace it by simply noticing what's going on inside of you. Or even better, just notice your breath as you're talking to people. Notice your breath. Just notice your breath. Look, I know it sounds simple, but I promise you, if you do it, you're going to forget. I know you're going to forget. You don't even need to tell me you're going to forget. But if you notice yourself forgetting during the interaction, you just became present. And that's the step. The more you notice yourself forgetting, the more present you become. So just notice yourself, notice your breath when you're talking to people, or notice whatever emotion that arises rather than resisting it, and that's going to come across as more likable. All right? And the last one is exposing your weaknesses and vulnerability. The reason why we love children is because of their vulnerability, because of their weakness, because of their innocence. We know that if they go into the wild, they could get hurt. We know that they cannot survive without us. It's charming in nature. It feeds to our natural narcissism. So by exposing your weaknesses and being honest about your weaknesses, it shows that you're human. It shows that you're not just this outside figure of trying to come across as perfect and better than the next guy. You see, the reason why I get a lot of comments from you guys, and I'm really flattered when you guys say honesty. I would have never thought that one of the nicest things about my channel, according to you guys, would be the honesty rather than the content that I put out. And I find that fascinating because it makes me wonder, holy shit. The only reason why I was being honest about the thing that I say is because, to be honest with you, like, I was just planning one video, and I wasn't planning to make this consistently, you know. And so, because of that, I had nothing to lose. I was like, fuck that shit. Let me talk about, I'm talking to girls, coming on Skype, you know, fucking bitches, all that shit, you know, like. And so I was like, this just gonna lose me my subscribers. I really was saying that. It was the total opposite. Actually made people like me more. They like the honesty. They like the rawness that I bring on when it comes to dating advice for women, because most channels are, you know, you try to get into women, you know, they'll try to put the message in a nice pretty basket of flowers, you know, because you guys are princesses, you know, you guys do no wrong, right? And so I was like, oh, fuck that shit. They're not princesses, man. They do crazy shit too, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. So as a result, because I saw right through you guys, I feel like they love that. So I talked too loud. Oops. That was a weakness in terms of me being honest about myself. Me being honest that I do this, I do that. And so I feel like people empathize with you more. So when you're talking to someone, it's okay to talk about things that you feel like are weaknesses. It's so even better. It even shows confidence. It's okay to say that you're nervous. It's okay to say that you doubt yourself. It's okay to say that you struggle sometimes. It's okay to say that you cry. It's okay to show that you feel lower than the next guy. It's okay. It's okay to show your ignorance. It's okay to show your innocence. It's okay to be wrong. The more you embrace whenever you lose, the more people can embrace you during your tough times. Because when you embrace your weaknesses in front of people, You don't even need to do nothing. By simply knowing, by simply being someone who embraces your weaknesses, they're going to feel that in an aura. You're gonna be more likable. I'm telling you, people are gonna want to do things for you. I feel like that's why I talk a lot. I feel like that's why I say a lot of crazy shit, and I guess none of you guys had any trouble with it. To be honest with you, I was actually expecting a lot of feminists to fucking be blistering me with a lot of crazy shit, but that's not the case. I mean, what the fuck, man? I'm waiting for you guys, right? Shit, that's how I get more views, right? But anyways, this is how you're able to be. These are 6 quick hacks on becoming more like a woman. I know they went quick. I know it was a long hack, but that's how you do it. Have empathy, change roles by seeing their inner child, validate someone's insecurity, speak slower with a lower voice, and having strong eye contact, believe in what you're saying and with certainty, and being present and expose your weaknesses. All right, and that's how you do it. Take care.
Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to learn more about these strategies, you guys can pre-order my course, The Feminine Woman, which is a course that I created. It's a general overall course. It's like a self-help course for women on how to embrace their masculine, how to embrace their feminine, how to think like a man, but also how to think like a woman, and how to merge both of your energies. And also it's a course about how to end mental projections, how to stop seeing the past in people. So it's more so if my nieces ask me to make a course for them, this is the course that I will make for them, okay? So click in the description down below to pre-order it right now before it's released. You guys can get a big discount by just pre-ordering it right now. I think it's $69, and I'll see you guys inside. Take care. Well, I'm closing the channel.